Yes? In fact, all our honorees are Purdue grads. Yeah, boiler up. And it's a great time to be the home of Purdue University because of the basketball team. Yes, nationally ranked. So I have to say, I had the privilege of being on the court the other night, and I met Zach Edey. Yes, standout basketball player, one of the best players in the nation. And I stood next to him because I had to get my picture taken. I mean, Zach Edey. I'm 5'2". He's 7 foot something. It was just a really great opportunity to really look up to someone. I mean, really look up to someone for many reasons. Zach obviously was very generous with his time, with photos and autographs with everyone. But it's just amazing someone to look up to. And that's our 5 teachers who we are honoring tonight. Your teachers are looked up by so many, from your students, from kindergarten on up, your parents, your colleagues, administrators, and many others in this community. We look up to you and we honor you. You have such a positive impact. And sometimes you don't even know for years later on the young people that come in your classrooms. So before we start our award ceremony, I want to turn the microphone over to the Chairman of the Board of Greater Lafayette Commerce and Tippecanoe County Commissioner, Tom Murtaugh.
Thank you, Sue, and good evening to everyone. It is quite the honor to be here tonight to celebrate not only the profession of teaching, but also to recognize these 5 extraordinary teachers. Everyone knows we carry what we are taught at a very young age with us throughout the rest of our lives. Teachers have the ability to shape leaders of the future, and teachers give children purpose, set them up for success as citizens of our world, and inspire them and to drive to do well and succeed in life. Tonight, we have an opportunity to celebrate these 5 outstanding educators in Tippecanoe County who are inspiring future generations every day. Our 5 Golden Apple recipients were nominated by students, parents, and colleagues. First, we'd like to thank our investors whose continued generosity helped to make this event possible. Our gold investors include State Farm, Old National Bank, Purdue College of Education, Tipmont REMC, and Ivy Tech Community College. Our silver investors include Cintier Bank, Duke Energy, Huth Thompson, Primient, and SDI Innovations. Our bronze sponsors are IU Health, Evonik, Purdue Federal Credit Union, and Stewart and Brannigan. We are grateful to partner with them to bring you tonight's program. Thank you.
Okay, let's get started with our first Golden Apple Award presented by Jim Slavin from State Farm Insurance.
Dana Crum teaches Family and Consumer Sciences at East Tip Middle School. She has taught many subjects over the years, including food, culinary arts, interior design, interpersonal relationships, and many more. When Dana is not teaching, she is cheering on her sons at their various sporting events.
I think I've always been a fan of school. Even when I was a little girl, I loved to play school. I also love just the atmosphere of a school, the fans and how you have school spirit and dress-up days and game days, and I love activities and all the clubs that you can do. So I'm just a fan of school in general.
Mrs. Crum, do you have a minute?
Yeah.
Can you stand up for me?
Whoa.
So,
What is going on?
well, here's what's happening. So kids, so you guys don't know this, but Mrs. Crum was nominated for a Golden Apple Award, which is a really big deal in teaching, and Mrs. Crum is our award winner this year. So. So not only does she win a little bit of money, but this is a really big deal in education too. So all the hard work she puts in, all the license to sew, all the cooking classes and all that kind of stuff is well deserved. So congratulations. So
Thank you.
Round of applause for Mrs. Crum.
I would say the favorite thing I love in the classroom is when they have the aha moments. Like they take a piece of fabric and a zipper and they make a gym bag out of it. Like, aha, I did that. Like, that's pretty amazing. This is why I became a FACS teacher. I love all the things in FACS. But the aha moments are my favorite times of teaching.
So on behalf of Greater Lafayette Commerce, the Golden Apple Committee, and our community, we'd like to recognize Mrs. Crum for one of the 5 Golden Apple Award recipients this year for 2022-2023. Okay. All right.
Yes, your project's still due today. Okay.
The major thing I want them to learn is how much I care about them and that I'm always going to be there for them. I'm their biggest fan. I'm an email away. You know, when they move to high school, when they graduate, I still have former students of mine when I first started teaching reaching out to me. They have families and they thank me for some of the things we did in child development class. Or, Ms. Crum, I know how to sew a button on. I was going to do an interview and it popped off and I sewed it on right before. I mean, you know, reaching out to me, things like that. So I want to build lifelong relationships with them. I want them to know that I really care about them.
So on behalf of State Farm and Greater Lafayette Commerce, it is my pleasure to present you with the 2023 Golden Apple Award.
Okay. Well, good evening. It's an honor to be here. Thank you to the members of the Chamber of Commerce for putting on this terrific event. This is pretty special for all of us. I will admit that standing in a room full of adults is a little scary for me. But you're probably thinking that standing in front of 140 middle schoolers each and every day is pretty scary. So I'll keep that in mind. As a teacher, I try to have the philosophy of learning from others as they can teach me just as much as I can teach them. So here's kind of a snapshot of those teachable moments that I've encountered in my nearly 23 years in this profession. My first job was at the home of the hot dogs of Frankfort High School. Before I was hired to teach in the Family Consumer Science Department, or FACS, as it's known today, there were 4 teachers in the building. Through a series of retirements, lost interest in the program, and program cut funding, I became a party of one as a brand new teacher. I taught housing and interior design with no technology available, so I would hold up pictures of architecture to my students. I taught cadet teaching, culinary arts, child development, interpersonal relationships. I piloted a cooking class for non-English learners, and I did many other things. I ran the Blue Star Grill and held staff luncheons and sent my first 4 students to culinary school. My goal was to teach my Hispanic students to read recipes, measure and do simple kitchen math, but also to enhance their conversational English while in a group setting and cooking. So how fun is that? One day I looked over at a girl who was grabbing the ice bucket from the freezer because the recipe said to ice the cake. Oh, okay, teachable moment there. I fondly remember my first principal, Mr. John Milholland, and thank him for giving me a chance to tutor first-generation girls that were college-bound, mentor teen mothers, and build Blue's Closet to give clothes to those students in need. Whatever these kids need, Dana, you do it. That was his mantra, and that was my foundation for teaching. Teachable moments from my favorite female principal, Dr. Kay Antonelli, also from Frankfort. She commanded respect while standing all of 4 foot 11 inches tall while rocking high heel shoes that clicked down the hallway bouncing with energy. She taught me that every new thing you encounter will have a learning curve, and you can handle it, Dana. Grow from it, and you will be better for it. And you, too, are a fierce female leader. When my husband and I decided to leave Frankfort and make our home in TSC, I became a McCutcheon Maverick. As the newest teacher in a department of 5, I was given the teacher on a cart status and was challenged with teaching adult roles and responsibilities to a class of 17 and 18-year-olds who were barely hanging on to school, and most were in the juvenile justice system. Standards for that class included understanding taxes, apartment leases, and meal planning, to name a few, which are all super important for us adults to do. But you can imagine the connection was hard to make with these kids. But those kids had a place in my heart, and I was always determined to build a meaningful relationship with them. The principal at the time was Mr. John Beaker, and I shared many conversations about my struggles with teaching these kids. And I felt really heard by him because he kept saying, "We need you here, Dana. You are a valuable member to our family." That in turn helped me create an atmosphere for those young adults that struggled and needed a place to feel valued. 13 years ago, I took a gamble and became a middle school teacher. I'll be honest, it was more so because it was convenient for our family because our oldest was getting ready to start kindergarten and Hershey was next door to East Tip. Being a teacher at East Tip is about as close to perfection as I can think of. I am surrounded by professionals each day that challenge me to be better, and we are supported by the best leader imaginable, Mr. Shad Buss. He constantly asks each of us, "What do you need to be a cutting-edge department?" He treats us as the professionals we are. He's the first to volunteer for my crazy ideas, like interviewing kids for job skills, eating their weird combinations of food I put together for the chopped competition. He's always there. He tells us straight up how it is and provides genuine advice and guidance. He's a leader and a true educational role model. Traits that have helped me as a teacher as shown to me through my family members. To my mom, providing me a strong foundation in our faith in Jesus Christ. And let's face it, sometimes prayer is needed to be a middle school teacher. She's calm, she's steadfast, and never gives up on anyone. She's a great listener, and when you need someone, she's there. So I took note, and I use that in my classroom. And there's my dad, and then there's my dad. To know him is to be amazed at a work ethic that is second to none, and the man has never met a stranger. Showing genuine interest in my students is a gift from you, Dad, and perhaps a little bit of my honoriness. When I married my husband 22 years ago, I literally hit the in-law jackpot. My mother-in-law has a gift of making a house a home and making her family feel special. And my father-in-law knows how to fix literally anything. Use what you have, make it work. These are incredible life lessons for the classroom. On to our 3 sons, our oldest, Cooper, the one that made me a mom and then left me first for college. He earned an academic and athletic scholarship to Marion to play football, and he stands at a towering 6'5". He's ambitious, driven, and somehow became an adult overnight. He's taught me to take advantage of the opportunities given and appreciate where you are in life and at each stage of life. Lessons I share with the aspiring young student athletes in my classroom. And in the middle's Bricker, our second boy, a senior in high school, 3-sport athlete, strong GPA, also college bound to play football with his brother, who has the natural ability to become anyone's friend. This kid, he could be getting ready to wrestle another heavyweight from the opposing team and will start chatting with him on the sideline before they match up. He will make sure and become your new friend. This is a teachable moment. Never look down on another and just simply be kind. Our youngest, Carter, 7th grader at East Tip, and yes, I've had all 3 boys in my classroom. There have only been a few times that took another student off guard and one of them has said, "Hey, Mom." It has been a joy to be their favorite teacher. Our youngest is super responsible, organized, and he thinks through new ideas and problems. He takes care of me in the morning and makes sure I have my morning energy drink, and he walks the dog without me telling him to. Brilliant. Routine is key and comforting. Take that to the classroom. So it wouldn't be right to end this without thanking my best friend and husband for being my biggest supporter. As a high school teacher and coach himself, he 100% gets my teaching frustrations and joys. He is always good for, okay, one more story about school, then no more school talk. Thank you for just being you. And for always trying to balance my school and work life. Sometimes they are just one and the same to me, and I have trouble differentiating the two. But I suppose that's what makes teaching part of who I am and why I weave those teachable moments into my classroom and students. So, thank you.
All right, here to present our second Golden Apple Award is Chancellor Erin Bowdy from Ivy Tech Community College.
All right. With 24 years as an educator, Sunshine Weber teaches kindergarten from Mayflower Elementary School, where my wife went, by the way. Great school. When Mrs. Weber is not in the classroom, you might find her hiking or kayaking. So, staying active. a national park, or high above the ground in a hot air balloon or trapeze. So we're here to, oh, we're gonna roll the video? Yep. Oh,
My role as a teacher has evolved a lot in the last 25 years. When I started teaching, it was really about academics and what you could teach kids and what could stick and what they needed to know for the test, which are all still important today. But my love of early childhood really was about the whole child.
We actually have another Golden Apple teacher today. Mrs. Sunshine Weber. Come on up.
My favorite thing to teach in kindergarten is social emotional lessons. So at Mayflower Mill, where I teach, we teach all kids about brain science. So my kindergartners can tell you that their prefrontal cortex is where the information goes in, their hippocampus is where it's stored, and their amygdala is where all of their feelings and emotions are. So we use that terminology daily in our classroom, and it's really exciting to see kindergartners use those big words, but not only use them, but know what they mean, and it really has helped them understand if something's hard, it's just because we have to keep getting it in here before it gets stored here. Or if they're feeling really sad or mad, it's because our amygdala is out and there are things that we can do to calm it so that we can take in information.
Boys and girls, again, Greater Lafayette Commerce, the Golden Apple Committee, and your community celebrates Mrs. Weber today as she is one of 5 also who have been chosen for the Golden Apple recipients. These teachers are both Hall of Fame teachers, and if they can do it, so can you.
The thing I want my students to take away the most is that they were loved, that they're cared for, and that once they're one of my students, they always are. So even if they go on to first grade or they move to a new school, I still care about them and think about them and try to make connections with them. I, in fact, have a high schooler that still is a pen pal with me, and we write letters back and forth. And so just impacting kids and knowing that once you're gone, I still love you and that I care for you.
Very inspiring, and I think I need some time in your kindergarten class because there are 2 of the 3 words I did not know. On behalf of Ivy Tech Community College and Greater Lafayette Commerce, it is my pleasure to present this 2023 Golden Apple to Sunshine Weber.
So I have some students here that know I have to put my old lady glasses on so that I can see what I'm reading. First off, I'm just overwhelmed at the family and friends and so many friends that came and staff members. So it's very humbling. When I thought about what I would say today, the word honored continued to ring in my head. I am honored in so many ways to receive this award. I'm honored to be a teacher who gets to do this hard job every day. I absolutely love my job, and I'm blessed that I get to work and love what I do. Who else gets to go to work and sing and dance and laugh and dress up in costumes? Don't get me wrong, this is a very difficult profession. It can be full of sleepless nights worrying about a student, tears over a difficult situation at home each week, endless hours of extra work brought home, but it can be both emotionally and physically draining. But the rewards outweigh all of that. I live for those smiles, hugs, or a sparkle in a child's eye because they mastered a skill that I just taught them. It's those times that a kid is sad or upset and they come to me for comfort, the times that collaborating with the child's family helps that child become successful. All of those things make this very difficult job worth it. I'm honored that in my 24 years of teaching, that it's taken me down a path full of lots of great experiences and students that have really made me into the teacher that I am today. I've taught preschool, special education, kindergarten. I've been a mentor teacher and done social work. All of those experiences, the schools that I've worked in and the teachers that I've learned from along the way have led me here. With each new experience, I knew that I could make an impact, and I embraced that challenge. I'm honored that families have trusted their little ones with me, and that I've gotten to spend more hours with them each day than they get to spend with their families. I'm proud of those connections that I still have with former students. I've gotten to see students graduate high school, get married, and have children of their own, and that's very fulfilling. I am honored that the Greater Lafayette Commerce recognizes the hard work that teachers in our area do each and every day for our schools. In a profession that does not come with a lot of accolades along the way, it's refreshing to receive one. There are so many wonderful teachers in our county that could be recognized for this, and I'm humbled and proud to be selected. I also know that there are so many out there that work just as hard as I do every day to teach our children. I'm extremely honored to teach at Mayflower Mill Elementary. If you have never stepped into that school, I'm telling you, it's a magical place. It's full of learning, love, connections, and some chaos. Our motto at the Mill is "You matter," and everyone matters in our building, and everyone's job is to make them feel like they matter. I'm honored to be a part of such a magical place and to work alongside my colleagues to make that magic happen every day. I'm proud of the hard work that we do to build relationships based on brain research and trauma-informed practices that in turn help our students learn. I'm honored to work under a principal that allows me to be the teacher that I want to be. My principal, Shannon Cobble, is a leader, a coach, a cheerleader, a mentor, a counselor, and a friend. She leads our staff with ease and understanding. She's always there to support and guide me to do what's best for our students. You will often find her laying on the floor, reading with the child, checking in on a student in need, finding resources for us, helping to de-escalate a child in distress, or checking on my own teacher brain state to see what I need. Because of this, I'm a better teacher. And thank you, Shannon. I'm extremely honored to be recognized tonight alongside my colleague, Jessica Harris, who also teaches at Mayflower. Jessica and my principal, Shannon Cobble, aren't able to be here today because they are presenting at a national conference on brain research and trauma. And so I'm so excited for them to be able to show the work that we're doing at Mayflower Mill with others. I look up to Jessica Harris in so many ways. When I think about a golden teacher, I think of her. When they announced that she was a Golden Apple winner at our school, I was so excited and proud of her. I had no idea that she had been nominated, and I knew that that meant that I had not won, but that didn't matter to me. When I also got called as a Golden Apple teacher, I was more honored to be standing alongside her. Do you remember when I said that Mayflower Mill was such a magical place? It's because it's full of teachers like her who take teaching to the next level. It's more than just teaching. It's teaching the whole child. All of our staff believe in this, and we act on it every single day. I'm honored that my family is here today to celebrate with me. My husband has been more excited about this reward than I think anyone else, and his excitement makes me proud. My family has seen the hard work and determination it takes to succeed in this profession, and they have taken a back seat at times. I think my boys know that teaching is an important profession. I think it's taught them to respect teachers and look up to them, and they've become great young men. I appreciate their willingness to share me with my profession, and I know that because of this, they see that important role for teachers. I'm honored that my favorite teacher was going to attend to celebrate with me today. Unfortunately, she wasn't feeling well and wasn't able to attend. Mrs. Sherry Massey was my 7th grade English teacher. She showed me that importance of making connections with students. She not only made a close connection with me, but did so with so many others that needed it. She had the biggest and most contagious smile, and she still does. She showed me the importance of making those connections. The simple act of making a connection can impact a child. It's the basis of all relationships. A student can't trust or look up to a teacher without it. Although I know that I learned all of those standards in that year in English, that's not what I remember. I remember that she cared for me, she made me feel safe and connected with me. She continued that connection over the years, and when I was hired in the same corporation as her, she visited me when I was setting up my room and welcomed me as her colleague. I strive to make those connections with my students each and every day. I am honored to be nominated by the Yoder family for this award. Not only are they the parents of some pretty amazing kids, both Mr. and Mrs. Yoder are teachers themselves. And so it's very humbling to be honored by fellow educators. I want to thank all of my students, current and past, that are here today, and thank you for the opportunity. I am honored to get to continue teaching and making an impact with my students. This isn't just a job, but rather an opportunity, and I'm extremely thankful for that opportunity every day. Thank you.
Now, after the ceremony, you should ask Mrs. Weber about the Kindy 500. That is an amazing event. And you can also ask Mrs. Crum about her chopped competition with the cooking skills and the clock's ticking and there's frantic cooking going on in the classroom. It's pretty awesome. So here to present our third Golden Apple Award is Bob Smith from Old National Bank.
Maribel Masudi has over 20 years of teaching experience. She taught 10 years at Tecumseh Junior High School and has been at 10 years at Edgeley Elementary, where she is currently teaching students enrolled in the school's High Ability Program. When Mrs. Masudi is not in the classroom, she is busy choreographing quinceañeras, most recently that of her own daughter.
Writing and reading has really influenced my ways of teaching because I truly want my students to become lovers of books. You know, with the power of literacy, children can create and go anywhere in their imagination. I just feel that once a child really understands and knows that they can read, they understand that there are no limits or boundaries. They can read and travel the world. They can learn anything with the power of literacy.
Mrs. Masudi is the reason I'm here today, and I have a bunch of people hiding to celebrate with Mrs. Masudi because she is the 2022-2023 Golden Apple Award recipient. And we have a fan club for Mrs. Masudi today. Mrs. Masudi is one of 5 teachers here in Tippecanoe County that was awarded the 2022-2023 Golden Apple. Is that awesome? Awesome. Yeah, awesome.
Over the years, I've become quite a diverse teacher. I understand now that students are all unique. And because of that, my teaching has, I teach through sing, through dance, through play, through art. We build STEM and anything techie to try to find a way to reach every single student.
You guys, boys and girls, you know I love you guys, right? Yeah, I work you so hard because I know that you guys are amazing. And I know you can do a lot when you're expected, and you know what you can do a lot. And I want you to know that no matter how hard things can be, we take deep breaths, we try again, because we can do it, right guys? Yeah. Right, no matter what, tough things are okay to be tough, because we take them in little steps and we can get things done. So I'm so proud of you guys. And I love what I do because I have so much fun with you guys every day, even on the tough days. I love you guys.
We love you.
Oh, thank you, baby.
I want children to know, and students to know that with patience, perseverance, any goal can be reached. I want them to also remember to help those around them reach their goals. And finally, once a Masudi, they're always a Masudi, and I'm always here for them.
trade honor on behalf of Old National Bank and Greater Lafayette Commerce to present the Golden Apple to Arabella Conceit.
All right, here we go. I would like to thank the many people that helped me become who I am. To begin, my parents taught me to persevere. Life never came easy to them, but they never gave up. And even though they came to a new country without mastering the culture or in the language, they were able to overcome obstacles to make sure that their children could have a better life. One story I remember my father sharing with me was about when he arrived to Lafayette. He was 10 years old, and when he first walked into his American school, which was LSE's Washington School. He told me that he felt like he was listening to dogs bark all day long, but he was determined to figure out what they were saying. Later that day, his teacher sat him down with a classmate, and the classmate opened up the textbook and pointed to a picture and said, "Deer." He said that at that moment, a fire was lit, and he was ready to take on this new language. I remember when he told me the story, I thought about how brave this 10-year-old boy was, and how kind his classmate was to teach him. At that moment, I knew I wanted to give other children that fire and passion to learn. At that moment, I also knew that I wanted to empower children. I wanted to help them find their path in life. I also wanted to make sure that each child knew the importance of accepting each other for who they are and to uplift each other. Understanding my parents' struggles helped me become who I am. I'm the first in my family not only to get my bachelor's from Purdue, but my master's from IU as well. Along with my parents, I have my husband to thank for encouraging me to get my master's. At that time, I was teaching about 100 students at Tecumseh Junior High. I had a 3-year-old and a 2-year-old, and I was a wife. It was tough, but it was so worth it. I was able to model the love of knowledge to my own children, my extended family, and my students. They were able to see that all things are possible if you truly want to achieve your goals. The idea of persevering is something I still model and try to teach my children and students and friends. Things will not always go our way smoothly. Many times we want to take the easy way because the hard path is scary. This is where we need to be creative, brave, and not give up. Just the other day in class, we were working on writing a summary about Martin Luther King Jr. The students had to write their topic sentence, 3 to 5 details, and their closing sentence. I had one student start to panic and cry. Welcome to first grade, guys. Before I stepped up to help him, his classmate stood up and said, "Hey, don't forget to take 5 deep breaths. That will help you clear your brain so you can think." I was so proud at that moment. My kiddos are practicing one of the many things we learn in first grade. Sure enough, he took his deep breaths and was able to begin his paragraph 1 sentence at a time. That was a great day. I want to help teach those around me to find a way to reach their goals and lift others in the process. And these 6-year-olds were doing just that. I hope to continue to teach children to be critical thinkers and courageous, kind, and hardworking. I wish to continue to open the minds of those around me to tolerate, embrace, and learn about other cultures. For many children, I am their first Latina teacher, they see. To some children, I am opening a new world of experience. They are learning about traditions that are happening around the world or right next door. To others, I may be that push that they need to believe in themselves and to see that they can be much more than they previously thought they could be. I want to empower all children that they may see themselves in me to be proud and not to be afraid of who they are. I remember being in elementary school and not wanting to be different. I really didn't want to be different because I didn't want to be made fun of or made to feel less of because I spoke 2 languages. I learned quickly to use context clues to try my best to follow everyone and understand what was going on. But you know what? Those darn puns Those darn puns still get me sometimes. Today, when I work with our ELL students, or when I'm passing them by in the hallway, I do everything in my power to build their confidence and to help them understand that speaking 2 languages is a superpower. I want to make sure that I thank Greater Lafayette Commerce for allowing me to share here with you tonight. Thank you for taking the time to surprise me at school. I really thought Megan was an origami expert. You guys had me fooled. Thank you for making my first graders feel like movie stars. They loved it. I was so nervous, but thank you for helping me out with my interviews, because I know I love to talk and I can talk to anybody, but as soon as the cameras are on, I lose it. I also want to thank my school, Edgelia. I'm so proud of all my Edgelia family and how accepting of culture they are. I don't mean to brag, but we had an amazing ofrenda for Dia de los Muertos. Everyone, students, teachers, staff, were all involved. We all love to learn about each other and our cultures. I want to thank my students because they make my days full of excitement. And I'm so proud that some of you are here. Thank you for coming, guys. I'm so proud of how kind and accepting, brave, and hardworking they are. I want to thank my parents, too, my classroom parents. I tell them always that we are a team, because honestly, I cannot do what I do without them. I also want to thank once more my husband. He's a glass specialist, and you know that some days he comes home extremely drained. But he still makes time to listen to everything I have to share in the day. I might be talking his ear off about something a child was able to master, maybe a student that I'm really worried about, or some crazy idea that I'm trying to start in the classroom. I want to thank my own children, Noah, Sophia, Matthias. They have helped me prep centers, copy papers, tear down bulletin boards, put up bulletin boards, reorganize my classroom library, which is OMG, right? Wrap holiday gifts, and much, much more. I am a blessed, blessed person. And thank you to all my family members for coming. They're so supportive. Thank you, everyone.
Our 4th Golden Apple Award is presented by Dr. Catherine Obenchain, Associate Dean of the Purdue University College of Education.
Good evening, and I do want to reiterate that all of tonight's Golden Apple Award winners are Purdue University graduates, so boiler up and hammer down. Lucas Harmon has worked in the West Lafayette Community School Corporation for 13 years, teaching 5th and 6th grades. Mr. Harmon's career began at Happy Hollow Elementary and continued at West Lafayette Intermediate School, where he currently leads the 6th grade and junior high math counts program. And he's also director of the 5th grade camp. He hopes that his love of teaching inspires all of his students to reach their potential.
As a child, I think we're drawn to a lot of things like cookie clicker and cats that change outfits. And learning can be challenging, but it can also be a lot of fun and exciting. Students have all kinds of interests, and to go and foster those and to become, the amazing person that they are capable of.
Golden Apple Award winner.
When I was in 6th grade, I was asked what I wanted to do, and I wanted to be a lawyer because that sounded like a lot of fun, argue with people. Then I found out how many really thick books I was going to have to read and know, and I decided I didn't want to do that.
I originally didn't want to go into education. I went to Purdue for engineering. Wasn't really enjoying that my freshman year. I was a little lost, and so I went and volunteered at the Hannah Youth Center in Lafayette. So I would walk over the bridge and be with the kids and just help them with their homework and play with them on their playground. And that was the best part of my day. And so I don't know why I really started that, but after being there, I realized that's what I wanted to do, be with children and help them, guide them to be successful.
All of you have talents, and maybe you're really good at math, maybe you aren't. And one day you'll get to find a career of all your talents combined together. I know you're stuck doing everything right now, but one day you get to pick and take all those strengths that you have. You all have all kinds of wonderful strengths, and then you get to just do those strengths. Then you can be award-winning at whatever you become.
When you get to see your students years later, whether they're going off to college, I have my students write letters, and then I get to find out where they're headed and what they're doing, and hear all the amazing things that they've accomplished, and know that there's even more to come. It's all worth it. And to know that I was a piece of that happening is just an incredible feeling. And no matter what struggles there are, then you know you can get through them.
On behalf of Purdue's College of Education and the Greater Lafayette Chamber, it is my pleasure to present the 4th Golden Apple Award tonight to Mr. Lucas Harmon.
First, I want to express how honored I am to have been nominated and to be receiving this award. Education is bigger than any teacher. As a society, we like to blame teachers for our students' failures and to praise teachers when they do well. So I would like to share this honor with all of those that have helped me and my wonderful students. People also say that it takes a village, but really, family is a better analogy. Family is your support system that never leaves you. They help you through hard times and celebrate your successes. They can frustrate you at times, but they are always there for you, and you are always there for them. Families can look many different ways, but the love is the same. I want to start by thanking the families of my students for nominating me for this award. I'm lucky to have families with students that value education and instill positive values in our students. Thank you to the parents that come home from work every night to check homework and study with your child. Thank you to the parents that know that being a parent is more important than being your child's friend. Thank you to the parents that read to your child when they are little. Thank you to the parents that give their child consequences when they need it. Thank you to the parents that give their child's teacher support even when they don't quite agree with their action. All of these extend doubly to grandparents and other adults that step in to help parents. These people took on something that wasn't expected of them because they love a child. I want to thank my classroom students that have never allowed me to feel alone or isolated while being the only adult in the classroom. Thank you to my students for being such hard workers and for buying into all my silliness like magic tricks to teach science or my President's Day videos. Thank you to my students for putting effort into their education and caring about their futures. I want to thank my work family for helping me grow and encouraging me along my path from being a brand new teacher many years ago. Thank you to my work family that have started programs like 5th grade camp and Living History Day, and for the many people that continue to support these and other enriching programs. Thank you to my former teachers who molded me into who I am today and for whom I owe many of my best ideas. I want to thank my immediate family who have supported me in countless ways. Thank you to my parents for always valuing education, supporting me in changing my major in college, and even watching my sick children so that I could teach. Thank you for helping shape me into the person that I am today. Thank you to my wife, Caroline, for always valuing what I do and encouraging me during my graduate courses and bringing so much joy into my life. I would be lost without you. Thank you to my children, James and Elizabeth, who have given me insight into the parents of my students. You taught me about the sleepless nights, the worrying over trivial matters, the frustrations, and the joy of being a parent. Finally, I want to thank everyone's patience as I inevitably take on more than I can possibly manage. I'm truly honored to receive this award, but I'm well aware that I'm lucky to be in a community that gives me opportunities to work with such wonderful young people, and there have been so many people who have helped and continue to support me on my journey to be a better teacher. For my final thought, I would like to remind everyone how much just a small gesture of encouragement can do for others. This award is a large gesture of encouragement that helps me strive to be a Golden Apple teacher every moment. But I have had many small gestures that have helped me get here. I remember in college when I was struggling with feelings of being overwhelmed, exhausted, and inadequate. My mother gave me a little clipping of a magazine that read, "Courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes courage is the little voice in the end of the day that says, I'll try again tomorrow." So if you're an educator, overwhelmed, trying to meet the diverse needs of all your students, it's okay, keep trying. If you're an educator, feeling exhausted from how COVID has impacted your students, it's okay, keep trying. If you're a parent that is feeling like your child won't listen and make the positive choices you need them to, it's okay, keep trying. If you're a parent overwhelmed, trying to help your child because you're juggling younger children and work and everything else, it's okay, keep trying. If you're a student who feels that you aren't good enough, know that your best is good enough. It's okay, keep trying. If you're a student that feels overwhelmed by all the work and finding your place in the world, it's okay, just keep trying. You're worth it. I still have that magazine clipping in a drawer. I thankfully don't get it out very often anymore, but something so simple has meant a lot to me. So I ask all of you who are listening to do something simple to encourage someone important in your life. And if you need encouragement today, please just keep trying.
Our fifth and final Golden Apple Award is presented by Jan Harlow from Tipmont REMC.
For 16 years, Jessica Harris has taught at the Tippecanoe School Corporation. Currently, she serves as a Title I teacher at Mayflower Mill Elementary. Jessica is the lead teacher of the CLIMB program, which provides students in grades K through 5 with behavioral interventions and direct instruction in social skills, emotional regulation, and character trait education.
Lots of students, they feel like they're little kids, they're not important, they don't have a lot of power or control over what happens in the world. And I teach them that anything that you do impacts somebody else's day a little bit. And when you can change the world for one person, even a little bit, when you can change their day, even a little bit, you've changed the world. When we talk about what makes you you, lots of times kids bring up your physical traits. You look like this, you're tall, your hair looks like this. Where your character traits you can't see, but it's the most important part of you because it's the type of person that you are. We're always working to grow good character even as adults because it makes us the kind of people that we are.
We have a teacher in our building who has won an award. The first person I'm going to call up is Mrs. Jessica Harris, Mayflower Mill Golden Apple winner.
She is one of 5 teachers in our county to be awarded this special award this year. She is a teacher of honor.
My kindergarten teacher was my very favorite teacher. I have several, but she was the teacher that really first made me love school. I was really shy, very shy. I was terrified to go to kindergarten. My mom had taken me and shown me the school and made sure I knew where my classroom was, but the first day of school I got lost and didn't know where my classroom was. Mrs. McCoy was a kindergarten teacher at Cole Elementary, and she found me and just scooped me up and made me feel safe and loved and brought me into class, and my year was fantastic. She made me love learning. But the really neat thing she did was the next year when I went to first grade, it happened again. I was scared, I was nervous, I got lost, and I went back to her room. And when I got there, she had taken a picture of me, like my first day of school, and she still had it posted in her window. And like just going back to my old teacher and seeing that I still had a place there, I'll never forget that feeling because I was so nervous and so scared, and she made me feel safe. And that has been like a staple in all of my career. Every kid that comes in my room, I want them to know that they're safe and they loved and they're loved and they matter. The biggest thing I can say is what I say all the time: I love you, and I'm so proud to work at the mill. And one thing about our school that's my favorite thing is everything we do together. So this is really like for all of our teachers and kids and aides and everybody that's in this building. Thank you guys, this is all of ours. I would want any student who's had me as a teacher, if you asked them, what do you remember about Mrs. Harris, I would want them to say, I was her favorite. I would want every kid to believe they were my favorite. So if I made every student feel important enough, special enough, if I knew their favorite color, their favorite sport, their family members, if I went to their ball games or went to their baptisms and was involved in their lives, you know, they would feel like they were the most special kid to me. And so I try every day to make every student feel like they're my favorite. That's what I would want kids to remember about me.
Unfortunately, Mrs. Harris is unable to join us this evening as she is attending a conference aimed at creating trauma-sensitive schools. Jessica sends her thanks via a pre-recorded video. On behalf of Tipmont REMC and Greater Lafayette Commerce, it is my pleasure to present this 2023 Golden Apple to Jessica Harris. And I'm sure
Good evening. I'm sorry I cannot be there in person with you all tonight, but I'm grateful to be able to be included with this amazing group of educators. Thank you, Greater Lafayette Commerce, for shining a spotlight on public education each year and for the immense time and effort that is spent on putting together such a special event. I'm proud to be here not only as a TSC teacher, but also as a former TSC student, and I'm grateful for the Tippecanoe School Corporation for employing me for the past 16 years. My classroom, called Climb, is focused on supporting students who struggle with using positive behavior in school. Our philosophy is to teach positive behavior the same way we teach any other academic skill students might struggle with. We meet our students at their level, provide them with strategies, and encourage and support their growth. Outwardly, I do this work because I have a passion for teaching positive character traits and seeing the confidence and change that takes place in my students. But personally, I wouldn't be able to do this work without my faith in a God who sees me for my own potential. He forgives my sins, and although I don't deserve his patience, his forgiveness, or his grace, it is offered to me freely every single day, and for that I am grateful. It's extremely humbling to be receiving this award because I can think of so many other teachers who are just as deserving of this type of recognition. There's a quote that says, "Life as a teacher begins the day you realize you are always a learner." I know I wouldn't be the teacher I am today without the efforts of so many others, my family, my earliest teachers, and the colleagues that I continue to learn from every single day. So I would like to use this time tonight to recognize and honor some of those special people who made me the teacher that I am now. To my parents, thank you for investing in my education and for always being my biggest supporters, plus countless hours helping me in my classroom. My biggest thanks goes to you. To my husband, Eric, who has been through all phases of my career, from studying with me in college to helping me prepare for job interviews, cutting out laminating and drawing all my anchor charts because I can't draw. I'm so grateful that you support all of my dreams. And for our kids, Ava, Lily, and Dawson, thank you for being willing to share your mom's heart with so many other children. You are my favorites. I'm thankful for my earliest teachers who helped me develop a love of learning as a child. My grandma, whose catchphrase was, "If you have a book, you have a friend." And my Aunt Brenda, "I always wanted to be a teacher just like you." She also taught at Mayflower Mill. Mrs. Jean McCoy and Mr. Jim Hoffner, two very special teachers at Cole Elementary. More than what you taught, what I remember most was feeling so loved in your classrooms. I loved school because I loved you, And those memories guided me into becoming a teacher who knows that making each child feel like they matter must come before any learning can take place. In my classroom, I keep a sign that says, "You are safe, you are loved, you are worth it." And I think about you both each time I see it. I'd like to thank Purdue's College of Education. Can't imagine a better program for preparing new teachers, and I'm so proud to be a Boilermaker. And to my teaching family, the massive amounts of friends and colleagues I have made during my career. I began my time in Tippecanoe School Corporation at Klondike Elementary, and I'm so grateful to Scott Peters for hiring me as a new teacher, for the first grade team that took me under their wing, and for all of the amazing families I was able to serve and love during my time at Klondike. And finally, to my Mayflower Mill family, the hardest working and most loving people I know. Shannon Cobble and Jill Pinkerton, our leaders, thank you for seeing us as people first, before employees. You see us for the moms, dads, wives, husbands that we are, and you take care of our personal needs first so that we can take care of our students. Your leadership inspires our staff because we see you working tirelessly alongside us. My friend and colleague, Sunshine Weber, who is being honored tonight as well. When I heard we hired a new teacher a few years ago named Sunshine, I had no idea she would be a literal ray of sunshine, whose positive energy is infectious. She has a gift for encouraging others and always knowing just when it's needed most. I can't imagine anyone more deserving of this than Sunshine. Kim Dow and Dixie Gallipo, my classroom aides, I'm grateful every day to work with two people I can laugh with, who don't quit on me on the hard days, who share my faith, and who see the best in our students and me every day. I wish I had enough time to talk about every single staff member at our school, because one thing that's very unique about Mayflower Mill is that we don't do anything on our own. Someone recently commented that the mill, as we love to call it, is like an ecosystem, and that couldn't be more true. So many working parts are in motion to support our students' every needs. Everyone does their own job and a bit of everyone else's too. When someone needs to step away, someone else steps up in their place. We share our struggles and we share our successes. So when one of us is recognized, we all are recognized. I know I could not do my job well without every person that is part of this most special place we call the mill. Finally, to all the students I've been blessed to work with, I love you, and I'm grateful and honored to have been your teacher. Thank you.
Wow, what an amazing group of educators. We definitely look up to you, and we appreciate all that you do for our students. Before we conclude tonight, I want to make sure we recognize the elected officials who are attending tonight. We have Lafayette Mayor Tony Rosworski, Tippecanoe County Commissioner Tom Murtaugh, Jody Hamilton, Tippecanoe County Council, and Kevin Klinker from Lafayette City Council. Thank you all for being here. And I hope I didn't miss anybody. If you think you're important, stand up. Again, thank you all for your continued support. It's been a tremendous pleasure to be honoring these 5 outstanding educators. We now begin the nomination process for a new year. Starting tonight, you can find a link for the 2024 Golden Apple Awards nomination at GreaterLafayetteCommerce.com. The deadline is May 1st. Thank you again to our 2023 Golden Apple Award investors, State Farm, Old National Bank, Purdue College of Education, Tipmont REMC, Centio Bank, Duke Energy, Huth Thompson LLP, Ivy Tech Community College, Primient, SDI Innovations, IU Health, Evonik, Purdue Federal Credit Union, and Stewart and Brannigan. Their financial support makes this all possible, and we appreciate it so much. On behalf of State Farm and Greater Lafayette Commerce, thank you for joining us. We'll have a recording of this program posted on Greater Lafayette Commerce's Facebook page, so you can share it with your friends. Congratulations again to all the nominees and honorees tonight. Have a great evening. God bless.